Have you ever felt like you were doing everything right, following the rules, checking the boxes, being a generally decent human being, only to find out that you might actually be further from the goal than the guy who's made a mess of everything?
That is a terrifying thought. It's like studying for a test for years, walking in confident, and realizing the test is in a language you've never heard before.
Exactly. We are looking at Luke chapter 18 today, and honestly, it feels like Jesus is taking our entire concept of success and merit and just flipping the table over. It's uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable. It's day 303 of our journey, and this chapter is relentless. It starts with a widow nagging a corrupt judge and ends with a blind beggar shouting down a crowd. And in the middle, you have religious leaders and rich guys getting the door slammed in their faces.
It really attacks the idea of self-sufficiency, doesn't it?
It destroys it completely.
Let's start with that first parable, the persistent widow. This is a strange one because Jesus compares God to an unrighteous judge. That feels risky.
It does sound risky on the surface. You have this judge who explicitly says, I don't fear God and I don't respect people. He's a cynic. He's corrupt. And then you have a widow, someone with zero social leverage who just won't leave him alone. She keeps saying, defend me.
And the judge eventually caves, not because he cares, but because she's annoying him. He says she's going to wear him out.
Right. But the point Jesus is making isn't a direct comparison. It's a contrast. He's saying, look, if a corrupt, selfish judge will give justice just to get some peace and quiet, how much more will a loving father answer his own children?
So it's an argument from the lesser to the greater.
Exactly. But there's a sting in the tail. Jesus finishes that story by asking, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth? That's a haunting question. He's connecting prayer not to getting what you want, but to the endurance of faith. Are you still asking when the answer hasn't come yet?
That transitions perfectly into the next story, which I think is one of the most famous but also the most misunderstood, the Pharisee and the tax collector.
Oh, absolutely. We love to read this and think, thank God I'm not like that arrogant Pharisee.
Which is ironic, because by thinking that, we become the Pharisee.
Precisely. The trap is so subtle. Picture the scene. You have the Pharisee standing by himself. Notice the isolation there, praying about himself. I thank you that I am not like other men. He has a resume. He fasts twice a week. He tithes on everything.
And technically, he's a good citizen. He's not robbing people. He's not cheating on his wife. If he was your neighbor, you'd probably want him on the Chill board.
You would. He's reliable. But then you have the tax collector. These guys were social pariahs, collaborators with Rome. He stands far off, won't even look up at the sky, and beats his chest saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner.
And Jesus drops the hammer. The tax collector goes home justified. The good guy does not.
It's the economy of grace. The Pharisee brought his resume to God. The tax collector brought his bankruptcy. As long as you think you have spiritual currency to buy God's favor, you leave empty. It's only when you realize you're broke that you get filled. Everyone who exalts himself will be humbled.
That theme of who gets in keeps rolling. Immediately after this heavy theological moment, people start bringing babies to Jesus, and the disciples, who are essentially Jesus' bodyguards at this point, rebuke them.
The disciples are acting like corporate gatekeepers. They think the Messiah is too important for toddlers. But Jesus gets indignant. He says the kingdom belongs to such as these.
Why children? Is it because they are innocent?
I don't think it's about moral innocence. Anyone who has a toddler knows they aren't always innocent. It's about helplessness. A child in that culture had no status, no legal power, no assets. They were totally dependent on their parents for survival. To receive the kingdom like a child means you acknowledge you can't survive on your own.
Which sets up the most devastating contrast in the chapter, the rich ruler.
The anti-child.
Yes, this guy is the total package. He's a ruler, he's rich, and he's moral. He asks Jesus, what shall I do to inherit eternal life?
Notice the verb, do. He's in transaction mode. He thinks eternal life is something you acquire, like a piece of real estate.
And Jesus plays along at first. He lists the commandments. Don't murder, don't steal, honor your parents.
And the man says, I've kept all these from my youth. And I believe he's being honest. He's not lying. He is a morally upstanding guy. He's the Pharisee from the earlier story, but in real life.
But then Jesus finds the one thing the man is holding on to. Sell everything, give it to the poor, come follow me.
and the man leaves sad. It's tragic. He had everything, but he couldn't let go of his control. Jesus says it's easier for a camel to go through a needle's eye than for a rich man to enter the kingdom.
I've heard people try to soften that. Oh, the needle's eye was a small gate in Jerusalem.
Yeah, that's a myth. Jesus is using hyperbole. A camel is huge, a needle eye is tiny. He's saying it is impossible. The disciples get it. They ask, then who can be saved? If the guy with all the blessings, wealth was seen as God's blessing, can't get in, who has a chance?
And Jesus' answer is the key to the whole chapter. The things which are impossible with men are possible with God.
That's the pivot point. The rich man couldn't save himself. The Pharisee couldn't save himself. But God can save the tax collector, and God can save the camel. It requires a total surrender of the idea that we are the ones doing the saving.
Peter, of course, pipes up right after this. Hey, we left everything.
Peter needs a little reassurance, and Jesus gives it to him. He says, yes, there is a cost. You leave house, wife, family, but the return is manifold in this time, and eternal life in the age to come. But then, Jesus pulls the 12 aside and tells them exactly how that eternal life is going to be purchased.
This part is so jarring. He describes his death in vivid detail. Mocked, spit on, scourged, killed.
And the text says, they understood none of these things. It was hidden from them. It's ironic, isn't it? The disciples who have left everything are spiritually blind to the cross. They still expect a conquering king, not a suffering servant.
They are blind. But then, as they get near Jericho, we meet a man who is physically blind.
The literary structure here is brilliant. You have the seeing disciples who are spiritually blind, and a blind beggar who sees spiritual reality clearly.
He hears the crowd and asks what's happening. They say Jesus of Nazareth is passing by, but the blind man doesn't call him Jesus of Nazareth.
No. He screams, Jesus, son of David! That is a messianic title. He sees the king, and just like with the children, the crowd tries to shut him up. Be quiet, you're embarrassing us.
But he yells louder. That persistence again, like the widow.
Exactly. He knows he has nothing. He's begging. He's the opposite of the rich ruler. The rich ruler had everything and walked away sad. The beggar has nothing, asks for mercy, and what happens?
Jesus stops. I love that. Standing still, Jesus commanded him to be brought to him, and he asks the same question he implies to everyone. What do you want me to do?
The blind man says, Lord, that I may see again. It's simple. It's desperate. And Jesus says, receive your sight. Your faith has healed you.
And unlike the rich ruler who walked away, the beggar follows Jesus, glorifying God.
It brings the whole chapter full circle. The kingdom isn't for the strong, the rich, or the self-righteous. It's for the widows who won't stop knocking, the tax collectors who beat their chests, the children who just want to be held, and the beggars who know they are blind until Jesus touches them.
It really redefines faith, doesn't it? We usually think of faith as believing the right doctrines or being confident, but in Luke 18, faith looks a lot like desperation.
That's a great way to put it. Faith is the refusal to trust in yourself. The Pharisee had confidence in himself. The rich ruler had confidence in his wealth. But the widow, the tax collector, and the blind man, they had nowhere else to go. Their faith was simply an open hand.
So, for us listening today, if we feel like we're good people, we might actually be in the danger zone.
We might be. If you think you deserve God's attention because of your track record, you're standing in the temple talking to yourself. But if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like you can't make the camel go through the needle, that's actually the best place to be, because that's where things become possible with God.
It's a humbling chapter. It asks us to strip away the resume and just ask for mercy.
And the promise is, when we do that, when we humble ourselves, we will be exalted, not because we are great, but because He is good.
A powerful reminder as we continue through Luke. We'll be back next time to see what happens when the Son of David finally arrives in Jerusalem. Thanks for listening.
See you then. If you have been blessed by this, please like, subscribe, and share this joy with others. God bless.